Good morning, grade 2s and any grade 3s who decided to join us. We're glad to have you here. Now, you may recall in a previous video, I had reminded you how to put numbers in order. Now, we call that ordering numbers, which doesn't mean you're ordering them at a restaurant. It just means that you're putting them in order. And usually that means from the least to the greatest. Now, sometimes on a test, you might be asked to order numbers and also put them on a number line. For some of you, you might be very familiar with this and think, yes, that's not a problem, I can do that. Others of you might be saying, well, yes, I know how to put these numbers in order, but I don't know what to do with this number line. Well, I'm going to show you that today. Here are my tips for doing that. First of all, if you are given a number line, I would first find the middle. Because as you can see, there's a whole bunch of numbers they didn't actually write on here. They only have a 0 and a 10. So there's a lot of numbers in between there, and I think we need a midpoint to help us keep track of where we are. So start in the middle, make a line, and figure out the number that comes halfway between your first and last numbers. So we're looking at 0 and 10. Now the middle number then is a 5. So you can even write that down to keep track of that. After that, then you just a matter of figuring out where the numbers should go based on the numbers that are already here. So let's take a look first at the number 7. All right. So we know that 7 is bigger than 0, of course. Now we know that 7 does not come between 0 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's no 7 there. So we know the 7 isn't going to go over here. Then we realize that after 5 comes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the 7 will be here. Now the question then is, where do we put the 7 exactly? Should it go here, here, here? Well, what we can do, even though we don't have the numbers written down, is we can make a good guess. So if you think about the numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, it's not right next to the 5, but it's also not that close to the 10. You might want to put it somewhere in the middle-ish, like right there. So now we have our 7 placed on the number line. Let's go up here again, and now let's take a look at the number 3. So now 3, of course, is bigger than 0, but it is lower than 5. It's less than. So we want to put 3 over here somewhere. Now again, we need to figure out where the best spot is. Would it be closer to 0, closer to 5, or somewhere towards the middle? So I think we know that it shouldn't be right by the 0 because we have 1 and 2, which are less than 3. But we also know that we have 4, which is greater than 5. So 3 might be kind of in the middle, maybe a little bit closer to the 5 than the middle, probably about there. And that would be good enough. We have one more number here, and that is the number 6. Now, this one is actually pretty easy because if you are familiar with your numbers, you'll know that it goes 5, 6, 7. So we're just going to plop that 6 right in between the 5 and the 7. And when you look at that, we have put our numbers in order 3, 6, 7, from least to greatest. Let's try another example. So now we are getting into some larger numbers. Now it's not very big, it's only up to 20, but we will gradually get into bigger numbers as we practice this idea. So if you'll remember, the first thing that you're wanting to do is you're going to want to find the middle. So let's make a line about in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not measuring it. Now, the mid number between 0 and 20 is 10. There we go. All right, so let's look at our first number here, which is the number 15. Now, 15 is not going to go over here between 0 and 10 because 15 is greater than 10. Now, we know that 15 is between 10 and 20. Now, whereabouts would it be? Now, if you remember from the last one, the midway between 0 and 10 was 5. And if you look at this number here, 15, you'll probably see that 15 is exactly between 10 and 20. It's the middle number. So we're going to put it right in the middle there. All right. So now let's take a look at our next number, which is 11. Now we know that 11 is greater than 0. And we can also see 11 is greater than 10. Now, 11 is less than 15, so we know it's not going to go over here. And we know that 11 is the next number after 10, and so we're going to put it as close to the 10 as we can. Honestly, I would probably make these numbers a little bit smaller if I was writing this on a test, but they're a little bit big. We'll just have to make do. Finally, we've got the 18 here. 18 is greater than 0, it's greater than 10, greater than 11, greater than 15, but less than 20. So we're going to put it right here. All right, so now we've ordered our numbers, 11, 15, 18, and we have placed them on the number line in the correct order. It's as simple as that. Let's do one more example. All right, we have 19, 13, and 16. Now, once again, we have 0 to 20. And just as we did on the last page, we're going to find the midpoint, which is 10. All right, so now let's look at our very first number there, which is a 19. 19 is greater than 0. It's greater than 10, but it's less than 20. But we know that 19 is the number right before 20. So we're just going to squeeze it right up close to the 20 right there. All right. All right, now we're going to look at the 13. Now the 13 is greater than 0, and it's greater than 10, but it's less than 20, and it's also less than 19. So for now, let's just put it right here. Now if we look at the 16, greater than 0, greater than 10, now it is greater than 13. So we're going to need to move 13 over just a wee bit there to fit in the 16. Now 13 is a bit closer to 10 than the 16. The 16 is close to the middle because as we saw in the last question, 15 is halfway between, and so 16 is just one number higher. So there you go. We have ordered 13, 16, and 19 and placed them on a number line. So that's something you can practice on your own. I hope that will be helpful if you come across that in a test. We will go over this another day to make sure that you understand it. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.